What's up, universe? This Sunday is WWE Fastlane, Sunday, March 10th, 2019, 7 p.m. Eastern. Pre-show is at 6 p.m. Eastern on the WWE Network for $9.99 or free to new subscribers. First pre-show match up is Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. I honestly don't know who's ahead in this feud, but I think it's best to let Andrade win this one. Let's let the new talent flourish. Rey Mysterio has had his time and he has nothing left to prove. Andrade is a future world champion. For that reason, I'm going with Andrade. Pre-show match number 2, just recently announced. Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Big E and Xavier Woods of the New Day. I really don't know where to go with this. However, I feel New Day will lose and continue their recent frustrations with the McMahons and with the Kofi Kingston situation. First match up of the actual card, the return of The Shield versus Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Bobby Lashley with Lio Rush. I think it's obvious we get a win from The Shield. This is the return of Roman Reigns, and I don't see him losing. What would be the point in a Shield loss and potential problems? We've seen that a million times. For that reason, I'm going with The Shield to win in the return. Next up, I want to talk about Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. If Becky wins, she'll be included at WrestleMania. I think the real question here is who will help Becky get the win, and will it be a legit win or will it be a disqualification? I honestly could see Ronda Rousey and even Stephanie McMahon interfering in this match. I mentioned in another video, what if this is all an elaborate plan by Charlotte and Becky and the McMahons to set up the Horsewoman match? With Ronda wanting Becky in the match, why wouldn't she interfere? Becky will get the win and she'll go on to be in the match at WrestleMania. Next up for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships on the line, Boston Hug Connection versus Nia Jax and Tamina. I don't see Sasha and Bayley losing the titles this soon after getting them. They have to give the title some type of relevance before a hot potato when I'm back and forth. I think the Boston Hug Connection will retain. There was talk of Trish and Lita challenging at WrestleMania, as well as talk of a Fatal 4-Way. Personally, I like both of these options, but I will go with the Fatal 4-Way, and then they could save Trish and Lita for later down the line. Next up for the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, we get Mandy Rose versus Asuka. Obviously, Mandy Rose isn't becoming the Women's Champion. This is probably going to set up Asuka versus Sonya Deville for WrestleMania. They haven't done anything with the feud since the Battle Royal a few SmackDowns back, and I legit want to see Asuka and Sonya go at it. WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos versus the greatest tag team in the world. I think with them being in Cleveland, this could be where The Miz turns on Shane, if it's happening, or even a good time for Shane to turn heel on Miz in his hometown. Mr. Miz will be there, and Miz losing in his hometown with his dad watching could either set him off, or maybe Shane could even beat up on Miz's dad to gain heat. We've seen signs of Miz flipping out on the last pay-per-view, and this is the last pay-per-view event before WrestleMania. Personally, I don't want to see the Usos as champions, but I think this will at least be where the tension begins with McMahon and Miz. I'll go with the Usos to retain with tension building between Shane and Miz in the coming weeks. It would be nice if the Usos go on to lose to Sanity, but that's leading us to WWE 2K Universe Fantasy territory. I also heard that there's talks of the Usos and the Hardys at WrestleMania. Raw Tag Team Championships, the Revival versus Rude and Gable versus Aleister Black and Ricochet. I'm going with the Revival to retain. Aleister Black and Ricochet still have unfinished business in NXT, and I think the Revival need to avenge the recent loss. Hopefully WWE is going to do something with the Revival long term and have them in some classic matches with a few legend teams in the future. Main event of the evening, WWE Championship, Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens. I honestly don't want Kofi interfering in this match. Having Mustafa Ali or other members of the New Day interfere could set up a match for Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. I don't think WWE will have Kofi win the championship at WrestleMania, so hopefully they save that match for another pay-per-view where Kofi can actually become the champion. When Mustafa Ali returns, clearly he won't be put back in the spot he was took out of, and I think a feud with Kofi and Mustafa Ali could be a good one. I think Daniel Bryan will retain the title. Guys, that's my predictions. Be sure to comment, leave feedback, like, share, subscribe, and enjoy WWE Fastlane this Sunday. Let me know what you think will happen and what you want to happen.